I want to show you how I created my own faceplate for the DJI goggles to an Integra and how you can design your own perfect fitting mask. I designed an object from which you can subtract a face scan to create the perfect fitting mask that allows your goggles to sit perfectly on your face, reducing all pressure points and lightly completely. 3D printing additionally allows us to use gyroid infill, which is basically a continuous volume, and therefore allows heat transfer from the inside air of the goggles that gets heated up by your body heat and the goggles to the outside colder air, usually in cold climates, which is the main cause for fogging. So that also gets reduced to basically zero. I love this design and I want to show you how you can design your own.
To get started on your own, download the file from the 3D model site, either via MakerWorld or Thingiverse. The file name you need is Goggles Faceplate Modifier Eye Alignment. Open it in 3D Builder, for example, pre-installed on Windows. In there you should find a 3D scan of the goggles, a faceplate base, an alignment modifier, and 2 small alignment blocks to help place your eyes correctly. Next, capture a 3D scan of your face. I recommend structured light scanning. Modern iPhones support this natively and provide surprisingly accurate and scaled meshes. If you're on Android, you can use photogrammetry, stitching together images or videos into a 3D model. It's less precise and often not perfect to scale, but it can still work. Once you get your mesh scanned, bring it into Mesh Mixer for cleaning up. Yes, it's a bit dated, but it's still one of the simplest tools for closing holes, smoothing surfaces, and preparing the mesh for Boolean operations. It's important that the scan is watertight, because we are subtracting it later. For the Mesh Mixer, I recommend Teaching Text YouTube video. Import the cleaned scan into 3D Builder or any other CAD software of your choice. Scale it accordingly and use the included eye alignment blocks to line up your face scan. Your pupils should land right at the tip of the red markers. Be sure your nose isn't clipping into the top or bottom structure and maintain a 5mm offset between your face scan and the goggles surface to allow room for the interface. If your goggles end up sitting too low or too far from your face, come back to this step and readjust the alignment. Small tweaks here can really make a big difference later. Now just subtract your face scan from the faceplate body. Any CAD software with Boolean tools will handle this. Fusion 360, SolidWorks, Rhino, whatever you're comfortable with. If you're using 3D Builder, the subtract function is right there, simple and effective. Once subtracted, export your new custom faceplate and get ready to print. If you want a modifier insert as well, just duplicate your face and align it the same way. First subtract your original scan from the base as before, then move the model aside and insert the upper green body. This becomes the modifier. Now move the second face scan upwards by 4mm. This defines the thickness of the interface. Subtract this new scan from the modifier and you're done. Now you have both a face plate and a modifier, custom fitted to your face. Bring both models into your slicer, Bamboo Studio in my case. For the modifier, set loop counts. For the modifier, I set loop counts to 0, a top and bottom layer also to 0, and used high infill density. Gyroid works well, as mentioned in the beginning, to reduce fogging. Adjust supports as needed depending on your printer setup and print orientation.
I'm really happy with how the faceplate turned out and I won't go back to my original. But there are some quirks to be aware of that I just want to mention. For one, if you print a faceplate out of rigid materials like PLR or ABS, you don't get any pressure spots, so flexible materials like TPU are really not needed and honestly just don't feel very good on your skin. But solid materials come with the drawback that if you want to put the goggles on top of your forehead, you have 2 pressure spots and that can get really uncomfortable. So I'd recommend just to put the goggles on your neck instead. the lenses are still well enough protected from the sunlight and you don't have to worry about that. The second part is that because it is molded to your face individually, other people have a really hard time to wear your goggles if you want to show them your FPV flying, for example. Some family members may experience that they can wear the goggles without any problems, but for most other people, you will have to bring along your original foam from the goggles and just snap it on before you hand them your goggles. Thank you for following along until now. If you are a recruiter and are watching this video, because I set it as a reference on my resume, for you I have included a short section on how I designed the faceplate in CAD itself. And then I hope you like it. I hope I get a job. Bye.
You might wonder how I modeled the goggles interface myself. Honestly, brute force. I initially iterated through many prototypes, tweaking geometries and printing about 1 kilogram of filaments before it fit just right. Here's the process in short. I sketched a section that approximated the goggle's internal curve, lofted it into a surface, mirrored it, added guide pins for alignment, and refined until the fit was dialed in. Then I exported the final base model for you to use on your own workflow.
I hope you enjoyed the video and could learn something. I hope you have as much success with your own custom faceplate as I did. Thank you for watching. Bye.